Hello, everyone. Welcome again to our channel, Let's Talk Internet Computer. Today, in our third episode, it's a special day for us. We want to make a tribute to the Internet Computer Programming language. It's Motoko. And we have with us one of the best Motoko programmers, Mr. Sebastin Thuillier. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, nice to be here. And thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, Sebastin Thuillier or Seb, right? Because everybody know you as a Seb, or how you prefer to?
Yeah, I prefer Seb because it's just easier to remember, and on Twitter it's just easy.
Yeah, everybody knows as a Seb. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, first of all, we would like to know more about you, Seb, about your background, your story. Where are you from? What are you start to your career, and just a little bit introduce you, please.
So I'm from France, and basically my story is the story of the guy that just learned about the internet computer 2 years ago. So I was already into crypto, but more as I was curious about it, reading what was Bitcoin, what was Ethereum, investing a bit, and yeah, just interested by the space. But at some point I learned about Web3. Well, I learned about some ideas related to Web3. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I remember being very, very interested by those concepts and thinking yeah, we really need those concepts. We really need this shift to Web3. So I watched some videos and I found a channel. It was called the Internet Computer Report. So it's very, very early supporters of the Internet Computer. That's basically we are doing videos explaining the project. But at this time it was very, very small and very not well known because definitely wasn't very talkative about the project. Most things were happening inside Definity and the public outreach was pretty small. So yeah, I started to learn about it, digging into the docs. And the more I was learning about this, the more I was interested, and it was pretty quick for me, to make my decision. I knew it was gonna be difficult, and I knew it was gonna take some time, but I wanted to be part of this, and so I have kind of a scientific background, kind of. I did mathematics and then engineering, but I never did web development or yeah, I was not a developer basically. So I started to learn and as much as possible, and I was ready to basically put everything I was doing on my studies aside to just start developing. And I was thinking that whatever happened, if you are a developer and you can build stuff, even in the case of one project that fails or never completes, if you know how to develop, I think you have work for the next 20 years. So I just realized that I should have went to a computer science degree from the beginning because it was really fascinating. So yeah, that's about it. Then many things happened during those years, those months, but now I'm a junior developer with a lot of experience on the internet computer because that's where I started my journey and that's where I'm still working.
Wow, nice. Sounds great. Yeah, it's more passion, right? Because you start study mathematics and then start to develop, and then once you go further and try to know more, you feel hey, I love this and I want to become a software developer. I want to maybe stay on the industry for long term. I want to start to develop on Web3 and know more about it. And yeah, this is something that is really cool. And okay, and now, Seb, which projects are you working on? which projects do you have in mind now, or are you working on?
So at the moment, I'm working at the squad, but we recently came to we recently come to a disagreement, kind of. So I'm gonna move to another project. So I'm currently doing interviews in the space, and yeah, I cannot really say where I'm going to land. I still don't really know, but I have a few ideas. And it will be probably one of the big player in the internet computer ecosystem.
Nice. I think you're going to achieve it, 100%. Okay, and yes, I also want to talk about Motoko for sure. Motoko is a smart contract programming language for the internet computer created by the Definity Foundation, or is a new software, right? A new software language being developed for the Definity Foundation. I think it was created, or one of the main designers was Andreas Rosberg, also co-creators of WebAssembly. And yeah, I just want to know more about how you meet Motoko, or how you start to learn programming like Motoko. And yeah, can you explain us the story about your from the scratch, your beginning in Motoko?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, first I want to say that on the internet computer, the canisters, so smart contracts, they run with WebAssembly. So WebAssembly is very, very low level. It means like it's basically very close to machine language. Like you have instruction. It's very, very difficult to read, and no one, like almost no one, would write it to write smart contract or that. So any language that compiles to WebAssembly can basically be used to develop on the internet computer. So that's the theory, but in reality, like you need some tools and some abstractions as well. So the only two languages at the moment that you can use are Rust and Motoko. You can also use TypeScript because Jordan is working on TypeScript SDK, and I think it's pretty advanced. I haven't tested it myself, but I've heard good reviews. But at the time I started, it was only Rust and Motoko, and also the documentation from Definity, I would say, oriented toward Motoko. They've made progress, and now you can also have a good example in Rust. But Rust is also a low-level language, not as low as WebAssembly, but it's I would say pretty difficult language if you are just starting your software development career. It's possible. Like I know some people that started with Rust and they are totally doing well. But for me, yeah, basically there was not a lot of examples. The Motoko was more accessible, and it's basically designed specifically for the internet computer. So you have many concepts that are bring into the language, like the actor concept, which represents the canister, intercanister calls, like many abstractions to make your life easier. So that's why I choose Motoko, and also I think the logo is dope. I love the little ghost, and I was excited by the fact that like I would be the first, or like among the first, of like using a language. So it's also a risky bet because basically if you learn Motoko, you are betting on the fact that the IC will thrive. So people will use it, because at the moment you can only use this language for the IC. It could be possible to use this language elsewhere, but right now you are basically making a bet on the future of the internet computer. So yeah, and I don't know if you want more precision about like how I started, what was the challenges, maybe things like this. But I can keep talking about Motoko.
Yeah, no, of course, yes, super interesting. I just like ask you, and then you can continue with how you start programming in Motoko.
Also, sorry, let me know if like something is not clear, or like, because it's like technical explanations as well. So let me know if something is not clear, or like I don't know exactly what the public that will listen to this podcast knows about the internet computer and like software development in general. But don't hesitate to ask any like question.
Okay, no, you explained pretty clear. Yeah, everything. By now, I think if like people have questions, once we finish the audio, for sure, like we are going to share everything, and then they can reply if they have questions or whatever. Yeah, and about Motoko, what dApps or programs, or we can create everything in internet computer with Motoko, like webs, dApps, and everything.
Yeah, there is no limitation. Like there are a few things that you cannot do with Motoko right now. Like because the internet computer, the protocol, like the code that the nodes are running, and like the protocol is written mostly in Rust. So it means that if you are developing in Rust, you have maybe more access to some part of the system, and more like you can go more into the details. But I've been working with Motoko, and like I've almost never been limited by the language, and the language is still like being improved every day. Like I think we are not even at the version 1. It's still like it's still 0.8 or something like this. So like the definitive foundation as a long-term plan to keep supporting Motoko. They have like a language team working on it, and they keep adding new features into the language. So I would say that like if you want to build on top, I mean like a dApp or I don't know, NFTs like tokens, social media, whatever, like a game, maybe there is no limitation with Motoko. Like only very specific things, but you can you would find a way to make it work, or like it's it's the language to build that, so there is no real limitation.
No limitations. Nice. And what makes Motoko like special compared with maybe other programs as Java, JavaScript, or C#? You think Motoko is like an evolution of other languages, or maybe it's like easier start from the scratch if you never have programmed before? Or in your opinion, what is the strengthness of Motoko?
So I'm not a language
maybe it's a question that you have to think about it, right? Because it's not something like, oh yeah, this is like
no, I can give my view on it, but maybe awesome. People would say other like things, but I can try. So as far as I know, I think this language was created by people that have real like long life experience of software development, and like how to develop a language, what are the good patterns. And I think in general, like the industry and the language have evolved, and we have like, I would say, almost 50 years of practice, good practice or bad practices. So I would say Motoko is has been developed with like to keep in mind that we will use Motoko for financial infrastructures or social infrastructure. So we don't want to make mistakes, or we want to avoid it as much as possible. So for example, if people are familiar with JavaScript, for example, in JavaScript you can add numbers and text, and it's not something that you would like to do with Motoko, because first, it will not work because Motoko is a type language. So every variable has a type, like number or text or Boolean. So it's very, very specific. You have to make sure that you are adding carrots with carrots and not carrots with potatoes. Sorry. And JavaScript, for example, is completely the opposite. You can mix different objects, and you will most of the time you will like kind of avoid the problems and just like resolve the issue by making an assumption that maybe you want a number or maybe you want a string. So it can, after many weeks of code, you can like completely forget about this and you have errors that you cannot resolve. In Motoko, if you try to do this, you will try to compile your code and it will say cannot compile because you are trying to add this with this and it's not possible. So that's a good thing, I think, because you see the errors, like not all the errors, of course, but some problems that you would arise later. You will see them like when you are writing the software. So it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Also, like there is a type which is called nat. So for a natural number, so 1, 2, 3, until basically as much as you want, because there is no like it's a type that is gonna grow by itself, and it's not something I've seen in other languages. Usually you have a limit, like because the number is represented by some 0 and 1, so by bytes, and this will take some amount of memory in space that is limited by default. It can be as huge as, for example, 128 bits, which is a lot, and you can write huge numbers, so you would almost never reach it. But in Motoko, it will grow by itself, so you can never have problems. This is the problem that, like, what I'm talking about is very specific. I don't know if people that never like develop will understand, but the problem that is very specific and has caused many problems in the past. And if you choose this type with Motoko, you don't have this problem. Also, everything that is like IC specific, like the canisters, the principle which represents your identity, are baked into the language, so it's really easy to manipulate those objects. And yeah, that's about it, I would say. Wow. There are many differences with other languages, of course, but yeah.
But there is a lot of advantages, yeah. And in your opinion, you have experience with Motoko. You have any like something like we can improve in Motoko? Any weaknesses that you think? For sure, Motoko is like a new program, and even each year is updated and is evolved to new versions. And in your opinion, you think we can improve something in Motoko, the language?
Definitely. Mm-hmm. There are not a lot of packages, so when you write software, you usually use code from other people, and it's called packages. So you don't need to write everything from scratch. You can just reuse some method. For example, if you want to, I don't know, you have a number and you want the text. Maybe every time you start a new program, you don't need to write again this method. You can just take it from somewhere else and add it into your code. And because Motoko is a very new language, there are not a lot of packages available.
You mean in GitHub or in other servers? Like you cannot.
Yeah, so it could be in GitHub or other like providers. Usually it's GitHub, but I would say even like the base modules that are included in the lab, like the language. So every module is available, like base module is available on the Definity website, Internet Computer website, where we can check like the documentation and how it's working, how to use it. But yeah, it's still pretty limited. Some functions are missing, some packages are missing. And I know that there is an organization called ICP that creates bounties for improving the language. So there is already like the Definity team that is working on improving Motoko, but also the community can come and publish packages if needed and get rewarded for this, because it's going to help like a ton of people and it's really needed. So yeah, that's the problem right now with Motoko, and also probably the lack of like if you use JavaScript, you will see tons of courses on the internet. Like you have so many choices, like years and years of courses, so you can find the best one, and you can learn JavaScript. I would say more easily than Motoko because you have more resources. Motoko is getting better and better, but there are still like not a lot of resources, not a lot of videos to learn Motoko. Yeah.
No, it doesn't exist the perfect language programming, right? Each program have weaknesses and strengths, and it is something like the ideal of the perfect program, 100% perfect, doesn't exist. But at least, yeah, we know more about Motoko, about where we can improve, and what the team are doing like a great things. And okay, and then I would like to talk about you, how, because you create, or you are one of the co-creators of Motoko Bootcamp, as a for people like start from the scratch, from new developers, from people like finish maybe the university and want to start to create something on internet computer like dApps, web, NFTs or whatever. You did a great idea. It's about the Motoko Bootcamp, and it's a project that honestly I'm super fascinated about that. I know you're working maybe on the second edition. Yeah, but I would like to know more and share with the community about the first edition, the Motoko Bootcamp, how you start this project, create content, and how it was in general, the Motoko Bootcamp.
So it was a project that I started with Isaac from T-Squad. So we were working on the T-Squad project together, and at some point, I think he said something to me like, I would like to learn Motoko.
Yeah.
And he like, I think I said like, I could help you, like, if you start to write some code, like I can help you, like, because I was doing the Motoko parts of the project. And then he sent me something like, well, if you are gonna like teach me, I think it's better if you teach like more people, because we need this in the ecosystem. And then we get together and we start working on the idea. So basically the goal was to come together with many projects and developer in the ecosystem. Everyone was gonna like participate. So there was like different topics, and every mentor was responsible for one topic. And basically was open to anyone. You could just join. It would last 1 week, and you would have like resources, live session, so where you would talk with mentors and experienced Motoko developers, and they would try to solve your issue. Sorry.
No,
and then you would have some exercises, and at the end of the week you would have like a kind of a hackathon, like semi hackathon, where you would have to create an NFT collection, and you would get like rewarded for this. And so yeah, we published an article, and we got way more answers than we expected. It was crazy, like the number of people. I was surprised by the number of also non-tech people that just wanted to get started. So we had like beginners and intermediate. I don't remember the exact number, but it was like it was overwhelming because we didn't thought that there would be so much people. And then we had a few months, I think 1.5 months to put together some resources. So I took some days off from the squad, and I started working on some resources, writing some code, some examples, some exercises. And yeah, we also got help from many members of the community, which I'm very grateful for. It was amazing to also talk with like experienced developers as well. Actually, I learned during the bootcamp as well. I was hosting it and doing some lessons, but for other mentors, I was listening, and I've learned quite a bit. So I think it was a really great experience, really funny to do. People like learning together was like people were excited. There was like I didn't sleep a lot during this week. But yeah, there was always people on Discord like talking and joking, and because of course like we had people from America, from Europe, from Africa, from China, from Japan, like everywhere. So it was very, very good. And yeah, at the end of the week we distributed those NFT rework, which was a diploma to basically certificate that the people that completed the week have some amount of knowledge in Motoko. And yeah, some people dropped because it was difficult. It was 1 week, and 1 week to learn like something like this is not enough. But it was a very good experience, and like I would do it again. I had fun a lot.
Okay, great. Yeah, we have like just 3 minutes for finish the interview or the meeting. I would like to know, let's just briefly, because you got like grants for the Affinity for start the project. Explain just like a little bit about it, and what is the expectations for the second, or if you have something in mind for the second part of the Motoko bootcamp.
So yeah, the second bootcamp is still in its early days. We are still in the like pre-conception period, but basically we want to make it more long. Because we had a few issues. So the first issue is the people that knew nothing about how to develop what is software development. It was complicated for them to onboard and pass the first few days. You needed some amount of like knowledge. So we want to start with a 1 week dedicated to everyone. Then another week for intermediate people, where maybe people that like succeed during the first week can also join, even if they are total beginners. And then we want to make a longer hackathon, like probably 1 week as well, where people would build, but they would have to pick a team. Maybe there would be meetings with people so they can like find a team that corresponds to them. Because right now, I've received many messages from people from the bootcamp, and everyone is building, but everyone is building like on their side. And we really need people to come together to build. Like, even if you are the best like developer in this planet, if you are working alone, like your impact is way more limited than if you start
if you join exactly and share and join and share your knowledge with everyone. We have other ideas and other mind, right?
Yeah, and yeah, also we want to make so it's a long-term project, but it would be amazing to create a long-term structure around it, kind of a school. So we would have like certificates and maybe different levels. We can also build like all the infrastructures around it, like the NFT. That would basically be like a university on the blockchain, basically. It would be something like this.
This is something like we have in the future. Maybe we can do it. Of course, like start to educate about Motoko. Okay, Seb, time is off. Thank you so much for stay here with us. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It was a fun conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can do a second episode talking more.
Let me know.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Take care. Okay. Bye, Seb. See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.